Hello guys, welcome back to our Nekomusiccen. My name is Brian and I have my friend here, Claudia.
Hello.
And we also have our own special guest, Dr. Tan. Hi Dr. Tan.
Welcome.
Hi.
Thank you
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, thank you for coming on the show. And any instruments you want to tell? Like any instruments that you've tried before? Currently that you're taking?
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I came from a very poor family, so we stayed in the 7-story flat, so we're very poor. So, and I went to St. Mary's School, so didn't really learn music as such in school. Yeah, and didn't really have an opportunity to learn for a long time. Yeah, so I think only after when I qualified as a specialist and I came back, then I had a bit more time, and then and money and stuff. So I started the piano, organ in fact, and then piano, and then. Yeah, but I only did like grade 9. Is it the lowest third up?
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah. Then I switched to piano, and then then I didn't do anything much for a long time, and then after that, 10 years ago, I guess I started with Eddie to learn to sing properly. Yeah. So it was fun. Yeah. So I think after I passed my grade 8, I thought, okay, I better start a new instrument. So I started the drums. So that was fun. Yeah, the drums. So it's fun. I love it. And then, and then 1 year ago, I started yangqin. Yeah. Yeah.
Love it.
I love it because it's all about brain. For me, it's now all about brain training.
Yes.
Right.
Because all these instruments have different. They do different things in the brain.
Right.
So like drums definitely is a whole body exercise, including the legs. And I love the way you have to separate your, one hand, the limbs from all the limbs to do different things at the different speed, different timing, and then your eyes and your ears. And then I don't like it when the teachers say my rhythm is out because I can't hear a lot of the half note, quarter note, and the whatever notes. And sometimes it goes so fast that you know that you try to cheat, but the teacher still say it's off, and it's like, are you sure,
You have to double check.
Trying your best.
It's like 130, going 130, and he still tell me my, it's off. Give me a break. So I love the drum because I love it because it's so, like singing you can get away with murder, right? I mean, you can ignore the teacher's frowns and all that. But the drums, when they give the metronome and you're out, it's out. So it's like, So I love the drum. It's quite and I love the fact that you have to isolate the right from the left, and then the legs and and then at different timing and different speed. So I love I don't know what it does in my brain, but I love the idea that it's it's causing a lot of like, wow, so it's a good brain exercise for me.
Makes the brain functions a little bit differently, doesn't it?
I think so, definitely. Yeah. Because it really because most of us are like, everything we do every day is like so standard, like I love and then yangqin is another different display. The yangqin, the Chinese, where the drum is you move everything, but this one is like up and down, and then you have to watch the do re mi fa sol la ti do depending on key. It's in different location, so you have to like a mind map where the A B C D is. For C chord, D chord, G chord, so it's very good for, and then at the same time you have to look at it's a do re mi in the solfege form, so and then again it's a percussion, so the timing and all that. So it's, and then the way the teacher teach, because it's Chinese instrument, so the way of teaching by repetition endlessly is quite interesting and a bit difficult for people like a bit ADHD, like you have to play the thing 5 times, and then if your phrase is out, you just make you play that phrase 5 times.
Okay. Well, speaking about the part of brains, would you like to get into some more details about music in the brain? So first off, do you think that music is important for the brain?
I think from the time when I qualified 40 years ago until 30 years ago when I became a pediatrician, and now the concept of how the brain actually works is more and more a mystery. In the olden days, when we graduate, we thought, okay, once you brain damage, the kid's brain damage, gone case already.
Yeah.
You know? Because the brain is, you're born with a certain amount of cells, and when you damage it, that's it. But actually, more and more, it's actually not true at all. So the good news is that it is capable of regeneration and new connections, and they call it neuroplastic. It's just as good as all the other cells in the body that keep reproducing themselves. So the more you use it, and the more you challenge the connections and so on, the better it gets. You know, so I think I didn't really know about it until I see some of the videos. So in children, I know the studies are quite not so difficult. It's more difficult to get. But in the adult patients, you know, like for instance, I watched on demented patients, where the old people are not old, but they lost function of the brain.
I see.
And there was one guy who was in the old folks home for the last 10 years, and all he did was just sit there and do nothing at all.
Sad.
It's so sad, yeah. Then somebody had a great idea. Said, "Oh, why don't we?" He used to be a musician, so he used to play, you know, good, you know, songs when he was young.
Yeah.
So he said, "Oh, why don't we record or tape some of these songs and put in a podcast and let him listen to it, you know?" And lo and behold, they did. You know, they captured all the songs, and the moment he listened to the songs, you see his eyes, and then he start moving, and then he start singing, and then he become very talkative. He totally came out of his so-called coma.
Yeah.
And when I saw that, I said, "My goodness me, you know, like what a shame, you know, that we never tested. You know, like it's like this traffic that you had when it was all jammed up, you know."
Yeah,
And
right.
actually, there was some short circuits that we could have used to bypass, you know, but they never did. We never did, because we have been doctors, we've been so stuck in the idea, oh, once it's like this, end of story already.
Yeah.
You know, so we try the traditional or help him to do whatever thing, but it's very because there's definitely some damage somewhere, and you know. So the beauty of music is that somehow it bypasses all the non-working locations, and somehow we resuscitate it revitalizes the ones that we thought was dead, but actually it's so deeply ingrained that it could be stimulated. And so that it just, wow, you know, and then once they do that, and then he start talking, and then, wow, you know, so then, of course, music, so that's one, you know, and then there's another one where it's one of the quite senior politicians who got shot in the brain, the left brain, which is what we know is the control of the language.
Yeah.
So she couldn't speak. Even after she recovered nicely, but she couldn't speak because that part of the brain, which is the broadcast center, that controlled speech, is gone. But then she was a singer before. She used to sing when she was young. So then they got her to sing, and they found that actually she could sing. She could sing. So that means what we thought in the olden days, that the left brain is the one that is speech, and the right brain is the one that's emotion, blah blah blah, is actually old timer already.
Right.
The brain is actually the right brain actually. So now the studies says that perhaps the spoken word when we speak like now is left brain, but the music word when we sing a word, you know, actually it's a right brain. So that in this lady, they used the right brain, her good brain, the right brain, to sing words until she dropped the music, and then she could speak using her right brain. So it's, to me, it's like, wow, these two cases where in the olden days we have written them off, just struck me that, wow, we read them off because we never look for alternative roads.
Right.
And that's why in children, where they have brain damage or they are autistic or they have certain parts of the brain that don't work so well. Or they look weird, they're blind, they grow up and their IQ seems to be quite limited. In the olden days, we would say, sorry lah, not much can do, and blah, blah, blah.
Sure.
Now, no. Now, I challenge the parents. Okay, I don't care. Whoever confirm, as long as somebody confirm is autistic or whatever, okay. But let's see which part is working. Let's see if we can bypass the parts that are not working. Because the brain is such a huge, so many circuits, So let's look for somehow bypass this part.
Right.
Okay lah, IQ, your IQ may not be great. So maybe he cannot be a doctor, maybe, I don't know, maybe may not be able to pass certain exam, which make use of this type of left brain thingy.
Right.
But let's check out the right brain and let's creative arts, let's go music, let's go percussion, let's try all sorts of ways of, or learn different language that have sound, that have music, rather than, because like certain language are very straight, certain language have tune, like maybe their way they speak will sound like a song rather than word, but still they are speaking. So at the end of the day, I think, so it is very powerful now. So I bring down from, say, old brain where the regeneration is supposed to be very slow. And young brain where the regeneration is so fantastic, I challenge you, I ask you, okay, how fast does the brain grow from birth to adult,
I'm not quite sure on that.
So usually at birth we measure the head circumference. I think next time when you have a baby, we'll measure the head circumference. The idea is say, what's the size of the head? The size of the head is 35 centimeters at birth. Okay, the circumference you call it. And adult size is 55 for women and 57, which means in 20 years or 15 or 18 years, they put on about 20 cm. But in the first year of life, do you know how many cm the brain grows? 12. Yeah. So the amazing thing in the brain growth in the first 2 years of life, first year is 12 cm, second year is 2 cm. And then after that, it's very little already.
Yeah.
So the first 2 years are magic years where the brain really grows to 14 out of 20. So it's almost 2/3 of its size.
Yes.
So imagine the potential that we don't even tap. So, we just let them learn to walk. And then 1 or 2 words, we're happy already. Like, oh my goodness, it's like, for me, like I buy my MacBook and supercomputer with all the WhatsApp, whatever program, and then I only use email, and I complain it's too slow, whatever, so so the brain, so children's brain, the studies on it is starting to be more and more now, but I think it's very hard to control now, because a lot of families who can afford music are better educated, better financially able to afford other things. So it's hard to do comparative.
Right.
But just based on the fact that the growth is so fast, you can try to check the areas that are not working, which we are very good at, and sometimes we are too good, so parents get very depressed because you give them a prognosis that, so what can we do? Don't know, and it's tough. So that's why, so I think looking for how to bypass the parts that don't work. So music is fantastic.
Right. So do you think there's any other methods for a human's brain to be synchronized? So I've read about this in the article where it is said that in an orchestra, the music synchronizes the performer's brains with the audience.
Yeah.
It is somewhat a magical moment for them.
So to me, music is a language in itself that actually crosses all race and color, cultures. So spoken language is, whatever dialect, whatever. Music is actually, I believe, I don't know, there's a certain rhythm in everyone, which somehow actually can synchronize. You know, whether you're a trained musician or not, it doesn't matter. You go to Longhouse, you play the whatever, everybody will be moving in almost similar with the pojok. You know what I mean? So it's a music of the soul. So any culture that actually try to say make music illegal, which in some places, yeah, those are because they know that the language of the soul is very powerful. Like you listen to something which is written, you know, and you don't know what they're talking about, like the Italian or whatever, but the way they sing and the even sometimes they play the piano, something in you just
Captivates.
yeah. Sometimes you feel sad, sometimes you feel happy, sometimes you know what I mean. Even if you don't know the language or the so I think and then children's songs, of course, they have a certain way, the rhythm, the you know, and then sad songs, I mean, so across culture, that thing it's very similar. You know? So that's why to me, some of these kids who are geniuses, like you know, the 3 or 4 years old who suddenly, when you teach them violin and they play like as if they've been learning like 10 years like that.
Prodigy.
Yeah, the child prodigy, and it's so amazing because it's like, how do you do that? You know, like how, you know?
Yeah.
Yes.
Bang masa lah, 10 years and still cannot pass audition. I mean, like, so weird, you know, like, no, dog. And then this 4 years old, and you play the, really, you know, like, what is it? What is it? So, so music is very interesting. I think it's you know, personally, I think, you know, I told them parents, you know, now that AI is going to take over all our brains now, so let's train the kids, you know, differently. This generation, the 5 years or 6, train them differently, because in 10 years time, 15 years time, they're not going to need their brain as much as we had needed our brain, but they will need the heart. They will need a soul. They will need to know what is beautiful and what's true, what's honorable, and that's something that you cannot capture in, you know, by learning words.
Right.
Yeah, they have to learn to listen to people's pain, in things which is beyond words. So maybe we should all learn to hear people frown.
I love that.
You know,
I love that.
we don't teach people to hear the pain in people's voice. You know,
Right.
and they say, I'm right. Okay? Yeah, we just take it. Betul ke? Because we don't, like, I think vocalists and musicians are very good because they learn to hear the emotion. Like Eddie would say, wow, your voice is very bright today. I said, really? How does it? I have no idea. Maybe I smile with my eyebrows. You know, I mean, it's so weird. I mean, you know, like, and then you play the music and you know, you sound so grum. And so we have to learn. So that's something you don't learn in school.
Yes.
No. And then you're not rewarded for learning these type of things in school, which is wrong, which is so wrong. And that's why we blame we say our children so cold-blooded nowadays, you know, like people can kill people without no double thoughts and rob, spam or steal, and you know, I mean, without feeling anything. Then I said maybe it's our problem because we have taught them like computers, we have programmed them like computers with no feeling, no heart, and they don't watch the person's eyes and listen to the pain. So I think we have to change. So I think for me, like, if I'm into education, I would actually insist music. Everybody must learn in music. I love learning music. I love the because I love the fact that you have to learn from zero.
Yeah.
So like not so much with vocal. Vocal, most of us, some people are so lucky they are born with very nice voice. So jealous, you know, like never have a class and sing like so boring. And then, okay, I exclude vocal, okay, but piano, challenge you on the piano. Okay, you play. You know, 0 is 0, right?
0 is 0.
You never learn is 0, so you cannot cheat. So within 1 hour, if you can move someone from 0 to a little bit of tung tung tung, wow, that's something. So the ability of the kid to take your correction, that this is not right, the pitch is wrong, they will not argue with you. they will not say, I don't agree with you, Cikgu. Music, if the teacher say you're off pitch, or like me, my drum rhythm is out, it's out. I cannot say no. Your ears, you know. Yeah. So the beauty of children who go through that learning system is that no longer can you cheat. You cannot Photoshop.
Yeah.
You don't practice, you don't BS lah.
Yes.
It shows.
Yes.
Okay, you cannot get
Yes.
someone to put your finger and play for you on a video and pretend it's you, which they do. Okay, you know, even in exams, I think. So there are certain things in music that you reach a certain, you pass an exam or you don't pass, or you pass well, you don't. You cannot say, oh, the standard is too high. Grade 8 Trinity is grade 8, and across the board, when I got my grade 8 IBEM, I said, really? So high on my score. I asked Eddie, hey, for people above 65, they mark different, is it? Yeah, seriously, because it was amazing, because it's like, really? I said, maybe senior citizen, they mark maybe
Differently.
maybe less strict, I don't know. I said, no lah, no. Anyway, I hope not. But, so I mean, you know, so I tell the parents, I said, if your children have that attitude to learning, that they will respect the teacher. When the teacher say, you're off, this is not right, they will take it and learn. And even though it's very frustrating, and in the first half an hour it's totally a waste of time, but it's very frustrating because you keep doing the same mistake, and everything seems to just insist on doing the same wrong things. But then, lo and behold, if you practice enough, next time so easy leh.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it's like, wow. So the beauty of you get immediate feedback, you know, for the child, and it's so good. The problem with our education system, we don't get feedback until we fail, until big F, and then wow, everybody's like, I feel like an idiot, you know.
Yeah.
They never tell you when you are failing, you know, how to pick yourself and how to, there's never this one-to. So music is very magical because it's one-to-one. You can see, because you know how to start from zero, anything, and it's not a shame.
Yes.
It's only a shame if after 10 years it's still zero, and you know, you never even bothered to practice. Yeah. So, your teacher is terrible, but so it's not possible to stay at zero if you have a good teacher, and the child can be motivated to just keep trying. Don't give up. So, and the teachers have to be very careful because a lot of time our body language and the way you look, oh my God, you look to heaven again. I told you the last time, you know, like children catch it and then ouch. So that's why I think the emotional language, the children will pick up. So that's the beauty of music also. So I think, so it's very good for kids who don't know how to express themselves, or rather autistic, or rather nerdy, and, you know, to get out of themselves and just pretend to imitate you, you know, like, so I think it's so powerful.
Right. So I've asked a lot of teenagers, do you think is it too late for them to start their music path right now? Yeah. So let's say the age group between 13 to 16. Right.
Actually, the window period for learning anything, dance, music, anything, taekwondo, is 4 to 7. 3 now. I changed to 3 because I saw a genius playing 3 years old, playing the violin. Oh my goodness. So maybe 4 to 7, you know, is ideal, and that's where the connections of the brain, everything is super fast.
Right. Yes.
So if you train them from 4, it's fantastic. But any time is a good time. So I started when I was 60, learning to sing properly, and drums when I was 65 from 0. So I could do it.
Still.
Yeah, of course.
It's never too late, right?
No, not at all. So the fact that you don't know is just that you didn't have the opportunity, or your parents you didn't have the time, whatever. Now I tell them, forget about some of these top subjects. You know, you have 4 hours of tuition, drop one of them. You know, really, unless you really want to be a doctor. But nowadays, for good medical school or good anything school, any universities, they don't interview you based on your results anymore.
Oh.
No. The academic part of the result, the straight A's or whatever, makes for me 60%.
I see.
I need to look at the character, which is 40%. Attitude, character, which is made up of, if you're sports, if you're sports, it means team play. You can give way, you can get kicked, you don't cry. And then if you like martial art, martial art up to grade whatever, it's very impressive. The discipline, the ability to learn from zero, and the ability to learn well.
Yes.
Yeah, learn well. Music, okay. And then last one is of course social, like is a leader or a head boy or something like that.
Yes. Yeah.
So if the very nerdy student just straight A's, do nothing else except study, I can get a computer and do better. In 10 years' time when he graduate, I can get a robot who will be much better than him anytime.
Right.
But I need the music, I need the spirit of excellence, the ability to be corrected, and the willingness to learn from zero, and the willingness to accept that people who are more senior, who have experience, even though may not have that many degrees, but they have the right to correct you, and you should learn from them, anyone. Yeah, so the ability to learn from anybody who is in the system longer and is obviously has the experience. Yeah. So the problem with our education system is that they emphasize, they say, oh, you're straight A's, wow, wow, so you can be this. But actually it doesn't correlate with character.
It's not the
There's
case
no
now.
it's not ethical.
Yes.
Some of them cheat, and then some of them will Photoshop, do
Right.
things and Photoshop. And
Yeah.
it's so easy and it's so unfair, especially if you're tested offline or online. You can get your mom and everybody else to Google the answers for you.
Right.
The answer.
Yeah.
It's so easy to get straight A's. So the person who has to climb up the tree to get the internet access, by herself with only a single handphone, and she obviously the result must be pretty accurate for her. But if you are in some big house where there are 10 devices and there are 5 people helping you to find the answers, you'll be straight A's all the time. So so to me the A's is no longer that critical. So for any profession now, it's more, the next generation is more about ethics already.
Yeah.
Do you feel? Can you hear people's pain? Can you feel? Can you sense that this is not right?
Right.
So I think, so that's where music comes in. Makes them more spiritual and more sensitive, and
More human.
huh?
More of a human.
And then they can work with others across.
Yes.
Don't look down on people who look like, this this guitar looks so old. So so I think musicians are, more people in the world should be musicians.
Of course, conclusion, music does help.
I think music helps to give a voice to the pain. The pain that is inside, that you cannot talk in words, or you're not allowed to say. So I think having good music and allowing them to play it or sing it, give them, they will say, okay, I'm just singing the song because it's a sad song. But actually the fact that they can sing the real emotion, that they have touched that pain before.
That's right.
It's not new. So it is good because it gives a voice to the pain. And in the process of giving voice, it's always good because you can learn to sing happy songs to override the negative songs again. So a lot of time you hear too many sad songs. So change the motivation. I don't know motivation, but change to happy songs, hopeful songs, optimistic.
Yeah.
So that
A bit optimistic. Yes.
happy songs, or
Yes.
So I think change the song that you sing inside when nobody's listening.
Yes.
Yeah, if you can change the song in the head that you sing when nobody's listening, maybe the darkness will be less.
Yeah. Well, on that note, we would like to thank Dr. Tan again. Thank you for being our guest of this episode. And yes, anything you'd like to share? No, no. All right.
Okay.
So we'll just end it here. Thank you so much, guys, for watching, and we'll see you next time.
Bye.